The most astounding realization based upon the hadith is that their belief in the one and only God of Israel never changed or wavered among these Judaized Arabs to such an extent that even when the males of the Qurayza tribe were being butchered, 600 to 900 men and boys, by Muhammad and his companions, only 2 of them accepted that Muhammad was the messenger of Allah. Their incredible tenacity to stick to their religious beliefs and to deny Muhammad what they clearly knew were his utterly false claims to prophethood is attested to by the fact that among the thousands of Jews and Judaized Arabs, less than 10 people were willing to convert to the cult of Muhammad, even upon pain of death. As a testament to their incredible display of loyalty to, and their refusal to betray their beliefs and traditions, in the following hadith, Muhammad remarks ruefully upon this tenacity. Sahih al-Bukhari 5.277, narrated by Abu Huraira. The Prophet said, had only 10 Jews believed me, all the Jews would have definitely believed me. From among the thousands of Jews in Arabia, not even 10 were willing to submit to Muhammad's false pretenses and tyranny. This is the ultimate measure of martyrdom. Before Muhammad appeared on the scene, there was no religious or racial discrimination between the Jews and the Arabs, especially since both are Semites. The concept of ethnic intolerance did not exist among the pagan Arabs until Muhammad created it in his Quran to justify the destruction of the Judaized and Christianized Arabs for having refused to accept him as a prophet. Over the centuries, the Jews and Judaized Arabs became economically much stronger than the pagan Arabs. Since they had emigrated from the more civilized and culturally advanced countries of Judea, Syria and Iraq, they knew many such arts as were unknown to the Arabs. They also enjoyed trade relations with the outside world. Those Jews of Israelite descent or indigenous Arab converts were integrated and accepted by the pagan natives. It is important to repeat yet again that the pagan Arabs were almost entirely nomadic people who abhorred and looked with contempt at the concept of tilling the land. Ibn Ishaq, pages 6 to 18, there are numerous passages that attest to the above facts. The stories about the Tubba, Qurayza, Medina, Mecca, etc. are very clear in showing the incredible intertwining between the Jews and the Arab tribes to such an extent that they are indistinguishable from each other excepting for their religious beliefs. According to Ibn Ishaq, it was 2 Jewish rabbis who saved both the Medina and Mecca from the wrath of Al-Tubba, pages 6 to 12. Philip Hitti, in his monumental History of the Arabs, asserts that it was the Jews who introduced the following fruits to the Arabians: apples, apricots, watermelons, pomegranates, lemons, oranges, sugarcane, bananas, and almonds, among others. The greatest and most important contribution by the Jews to Arabian agriculture and subsequently their heritage was the introduction of the palm tree, which existed mostly in the fertile land of Iraq. It is called tamar in Arabic, whose root resides in the Hebrew tamar, meaning dates. Furthermore, each of their tribes had to enter into alliances with one or another powerful pagan Arab tribe for the sake of its own protection, so that no other powerful tribe should overawe it by its might. Because of this, they had not only to take part in the mutual wars of the Arabs, but they often had to go to war in support of the Arab tribe to which their tribe was tied in alliance against another Judaized tribe which was allied to the enemy tribe. In Yathrib, the Bani Qurayza and Bani Nadir were allies of the Aus, while the Bani Qaynuqa were allied to the Khazraj. A few years before Muhammad's emigration to the Medina, these Judaized tribes had confronted each other in support of their respective allies in the war that took place between the Aus and Khazraj at Bu'ath. The Aus and Khazraj were the ones who welcomed and protected Muhammad in Medina and who were called the Ansar, meaning supporters or helpers of Muhammad. Because of their proximity and blood relations with their Judaized Arab brothers and sisters, they were the most prone to believe in the one and only God. They were the same who later, after the death of Muhammad, had to contend with the religious and political discrimination fostered upon them by the Qurayshites. The Jews, Judaized Arabs of Medina, were almost totally Arab. They were, after all, natives of Arabia and not foreign intruders or actual Jews, and even if they were originally from Judea, by the way, there was no Palestine, they became fully absorbed and assimilated by the time of Muhammad. The Judaized Arabs at the beginning welcomed Muhammad as a brother monotheist who was attempting to convert his pagan Arabian tribes to the belief in the one and only God. Unfortunately, Muhammad's original perception of his mission as the Moses of the pagan Arabs slowly transformed itself into a more militant and uncompromising self-esteem as a prophet to all mankind and especially to the Jews. Muhammad actually started to perceive himself and believe that he was the promised Messiah. The Judaized Arabs, for very good reasons, refused to accept Muhammad as a prophet, especially since he was not bringing about any new concept or ideas which were either equal to or superior to theirs. Because of his grandiose claims to prophethood and his alleged revelations, they constantly questioned and ridiculed him, especially since his so-called revelations totally contradicted the original versions in their Hebrew Bible. These humiliating but fully warranted disputations became intolerable effrontery to him personally and a threat to his innocent claims, which were adding to his difficulty in converting the pagans to his cultic beliefs. In the end, he had no choice but to exterminate such witnesses to his lies and pretensions. Muhammad's personal legacy of hate for the Jews and Christians who refused to believe in him is inscribed in his Quran. The entirety of the Quran, after all, is actually Muhammad's own alter ego, and thus replete with innumerable verses attacking, insulting, denigrating, and inciting Muhammad's followers against Judaized Arabs. Systematically and with aforethought, Muhammad broke all treaties with the pagan, Judaized, and Christianized Arabian tribes, or found other excuses to slaughter, convert, subjugate, or enslave them.